Quick question, have you ever watched a Dragon Ball clip on YouTube or TikTok and thought, wait, when's this or who's that? Maybe you sometimes scroll the comments and see people mentioning things like Cell's original timeline, GT, or Xeno Goku, and you're left thinking, where in the Dragon Ball series does this happen? If you've ever felt lost, it's really not your fault. Dragon Ball just has multiple timelines and continuities. So today, I'm going to lay out a simple map that outlines every Dragon Ball timeline, focusing mostly on the key events that unfold in the different anime series and movies. That way you can always tell where you are in Dragon Ball history and understand the references both in canon and in non-canon material. Here's the deal, Dragon Ball's chronology isn't really that complicated. Think of it like this. There's one main story with several key points in the timeline where the path splits and creates branching paths. With that, all you need is an easy system to know the differences between the main timeline and the alternate history of events, to understand how it all connects together. Because without a system, you'll continue getting confused about things like what Dragon Ball shows or movies are canon versus non-canon, why you see clips of different versions of Goku fighting each other, and what is the Dragon Ball lore and mythology behind the different universes. So instead of guessing, let's use the main canon timeline as our guide to outline the key events of the main story and point out every moment the path splits and creates either an alternate movie event, parallel timeline, or separate continuity. But before we get to the martial arts tournaments, let's rewind way back to the very beginning of the timeline during the before age part of Dragon Ball history. Once you see the early setup, later branches and big events are easier to understand. Over 150 million years ago, the demon realm already existed. The good Supreme Demon King orders his subject Rimus to expand the demon realm by creating the multiverse. A being called Zeno is later placed at the top of the cosmic hierarchy to rule over all the universes as the Omni King, with the power to erase entire realities when he sees fit. This event marks the origin of the entire Dragon Ball multiverse, while setting the stage for Universe 7, which is the primary universe where the main canon timeline of the series takes place. Around that same ancient era, the Demon Realm is home to different magical races, including the Majin, the Glind, and early Namekians. Some groups of Majin start moving out into the new universes, while some Glind are chosen to become Supreme Kais, gods whose job it is to watch over life and creation of their universes. Gods of destruction like Beerus also exist to create balance, destroying worlds when necessary, usually eliminating planets or threats that destabilize the universe. Not much long after that, a dragon god creates the Super Dragon Balls, which are the biggest Dragon Balls in the franchise, spread across Universe 6 and Universe 7. 10 million to 5 million years before age, the universe is already facing big cosmic threats like Majin Buu. Eventually, Buu is sealed away on Earth. But as you probably already know, this wouldn't be the last time we see of Buu, of course. Thousands of years before age, the Namekians leave the Demon Realm and settle on planet Namek in Universe 7. And from here, we start making our way out of ancient history and onto the path of the main timeline. Now, this is where we begin referring to years as age, the in-universe yearly calendar system. A few key events happen that lead up to the main story, and explain how Earth came to have its own Dragon Balls in the first place. This is the stuff a lot of newcomers miss because it happens before the show's main story kicks off, and you usually only hear about them later in quick flashbacks or explanations scattered throughout the different series. But it's important to explain the details here so that you understand why many of the later events and arcs in the timeline really matter. Age 261, planet Namek gets hit by massive storms and droughts, but one kid is sent away to survive and eventually ends up on Earth. He later becomes known as the Nameless Namekian. Around age 431 to 461, the Nameless Namekian trains under that era's Earth's Guardian. Eventually, the Namekian is chosen to become the new Guardian, but there's a catch. To become the Guardian, a person has to be pure-hearted. So the Nameless Namekian separates the evil part of himself into a new being. The good half is Kami, Earth's new Guardian, and the evil half becomes King Piccolo. Almost a decade later, King Piccolo nearly throws Earth into chaos before getting sealed away. Age 470, Kami creates Earth's Dragon Balls. Around age 550, the Saiyans lose their original home planet, Sadala, after a civil war. They relocate to the nearby planet Plant that is already inhabited by a technologically advanced race called the Tuffles. For a while, the Saiyans and Tuffles share the planet, but around age 720 to 730, tensions between the races are high and the Saiyans and Tuffles go to war. For a while, the Tuffles have the advantage, but the Saiyans ultimately win and wipe out the Tuffles after turning into their giant ape forms during a full moon cycle. They take over the planet and rename it Planet Vegeta. Age 731 to 732, Frieza's father, King Cold, takes control of the Saiyans and pulls them into his space empire. The Saiyans become conquerors for hire under his rule. Age 732, Vegeta and Broly are born. Soon after, King Cold steps aside and Frieza takes over. Broly's abnormal power freaks out King Vegeta and the Saiyan elites, so he's sent off-world to a harsh planet. Age 737, two Saiyans, Bardock and Gine, have a son they name Kakarot. Bardock suspects Frieza is about to wipe out the Saiyans, so he sends baby Kakarot off-world to save him. This is also where we have our first time split and alternate movie event. An alternate version of these events take place in the non-canon movie Dragon Ball Z Bardock, the father of Goku. Age 737 to 740, Kakarot eventually lands on Earth and is found by Grandpa Gohan, who names him Goku, and raises him. About a month later, Frieza destroys Planet Vegeta, wiping out most of the Saiyan race. Age 740 to 749, during Goku's early childhood, he falls, hits his head, and loses most of the violent nature that he has from his Saiyan roots, basically turning him into the kind, curious kid we know. Sometime later, Goku turns into the giant ape form, loses control, and kills Grandpa Gohan by accident. So yeah, on that note, we just laid the groundwork for the rest of the timeline. Earth has its Dragon Balls, and Goku, one of the last Saiyans, is now on Earth. With that setup, we can finally get into where the different series and movies fit in the chronology. But just in case you want a deeper breakdown of every timeline with more dates, events, and all the extra context that we're going to be skipping here, click the link in the description after you watch this video to check out our detailed article on the different Dragon Ball timelines. Now, let's pick up from where the main story really begins. Dragon Ball, age 749 to 760. This is where the events of the original series take place and where the franchise starts as a lighthearted adventure that evolves into martial arts tournaments. During this time, Goku meets many of his lifelong friends and faces a few villains that directly or indirectly set up later arcs in the timeline. So if you're coming from watching later series like Z or Super, this period in time can feel completely different. Early Dragon Ball is smaller scale, a bit more comedic, and more focused on the journey. But that's what makes it important. In canon, this is where our main cast first learns how the Dragon Balls work, how Goku turns rivals or enemies into friends, and how a simple quest can turn into a real-world level threat. Age 749, Bulma meets Goku while hunting for the Dragon Balls, kicking off the main story. Along the way, they meet other characters like Yamcha, Master Roshi, and the Ox King, and his daughter Chi-Chi. Later, Emperor Pilaf captures all the Dragon Balls, summons Shenron, and tries to wish for world domination. But Oolong hijacks the wish with something ridiculous. Pilaf imprisons Goku and his friends, but Goku turns into a giant ape, wrecking Pilaf's castle, allowing the group to escape. During this age, we also get the alternate movie event of Dragon Ball Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle, which fit as a non-canon side story. Age 749 to 750, Goku meets Krillin at Kame House. They become rivals and training partners under Master Roshi to understand the foundations of martial arts. Age 750, their training leads them to the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, where Roshi beats Goku disguised as Jackie Chun. After the tournament, Goku clashes with the Red Ribbon Army, which ultimately Goku destroys. Age 753, the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament introduces Tien and Shiatsu, with Tien winning after a close fight with Goku. Shortly after, King Piccolo is released and terrorizes Earth. During the crisis, Krillin, Master Roshi, and Shiatsu are killed, but are later revived with the Dragon Balls. Goku defeats King Piccolo, but the evil Namekian spits out an egg containing his reincarnation, Piccolo Jr. Age 753 to 756, Goku trains for 3 years with Kami and Mr. Popo to prepare for a rematch against Piccolo Jr. During this time, Kami removes Goku's tail so he can't turn into a giant ape again. Age 756 to 757, at the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, Goku defeats Piccolo Jr., wins the tournament, and marries Chi-Chi. Soon after, they have their son Gohan, marking the handoff to the next major era in the timeline. Dragon Ball Z age 761 to 774. This is where the story gets bigger. Goku has a family now and problems stop being just about Earth, with threats from outer space showing up. Age 761 to 762. Dragon Ball Z begins with the Saiyan saga, when Raditz arrives on Earth and reveals to Goku that they are brothers, and that his name is actually Kakarot. After Goku sacrifices himself to stop Raditz during their battle while teaming up with Piccolo, Vegeta and Nappa head to Earth after learning about the Dragon Balls. While Goku trains in the afterlife, the other heroes prepare for the invasion. The battle against the Saiyans leaves many of the Z fighters dead, including Piccolo, but Goku, Gohan, Krillin, and Yajirobe managed to defeat Vegeta, forcing him to retreat. During this period in the timeline, the alternate movie events of Dead Zone, The World's Strongest, The Tree of Might, and Lord Slug also take place. Age 762 to 763. The events of the Frieza saga on Namek happen here. Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma travel to planet Namek to use its Dragon Balls to revive their friends since Piccolo died during the battle against Nappa. This caused Earth's Dragon Balls to stop working because of Piccolo's link with Kami, the creator of Earth's Dragon Balls. On Namek, our three heroes get caught up in a dangerous struggle involving Vegeta, Frieza, and the Ginyu Force. Goku eventually arrives after recovering and training in space. The conflict escalates into a showdown against Frieza. During the battle, Piccolo is revived with the Namekian Dragon Balls, Earth's Dragon Balls are restored, and Frieza kills Krillin, which triggers Goku to transform to Super Saiyan for the first time. Goku defeats Frieza, Namek is destroyed, and the surviving Namekians relocate to New Namek. Also, Earth's Dragon Balls are used to bring back the rest of the Z fighters. During the second half of this time period, we also get the beginning of a parallel timeline. See, in age 763, Cell actually shows up in the main timeline after traveling back from age 788 of his original timeline. He hides underground for several years to absorb nutrients while he waits for Dr. Gero's androids to appear. Around this time period is where we get the events leading up to the androids' Cell saga. After Namek, Frieza survives and heads to Earth with his father King Cold to get revenge. In age 764, soon after they land, Future Trunks appears and kills them both. Here's where we also get another time split and a parallel timeline of events that run alongside the main canon, the Future Trunks Ruin timeline, in which Goku is actually the one who defeats Frieza and King Cold. Trunks warns the heroes in the main timeline about Dr. Gero's deadly androids and tells them that they would show up in 3 years. He explains that in his time, after Goku died from a heart virus, the androids destroyed most of civilization. To stop this from happening in the main timeline, Trunks gives Goku an antidote to cure the disease. This event leads to the Z fighters training for the next 3 years, leading up to the androids' arrival. During this time, Vegeta pushes himself to become a Super Saiyan and develops a relationship with Bulma as well. Now, this is where we get more alternate events from the parallel timelines that I mentioned earlier. In age 766, Goku dies from the heart virus in the Future Trunks timeline. Right after, Trunks is born to Bulma and Vegeta in both parallel timelines and the main timeline. Here's also where the alternate movie events of Cooler's Revenge take place. Then in age 767, the Android Cell saga officially begins. In the main timeline, Goku gets hit with the heart virus during battle against Android 19 and Dr. Gero, but he retreats to take his medicine and recover, leaving Vegeta and Piccolo to handle the rest. With Android 19 defeated, Dr. Gero leaves the battle and wakes up Androids 17 and 18 who kill him and then wake up Android 16. The three androids overwhelm the Z fighters and then head out to find Goku. Meanwhile, in the future Trunks timeline, Androids 17 and 18 were activated earlier and killed all the Z fighters except future Gohan, making the Dragon Balls unusable since Piccolo died. Back on the main timeline, soon after the androids are activated, Cell enters the story revealing himself as a bio-android from another timeline. Once Cell absorbs androids, he announces the Cell games, which ends with Gohan turning into Super Saiyan 2 and ultimately defeating the bio-android after Goku sacrifices himself again. Also, in age 767, the alternate movie events of Super Android 13, The Return of Cooler, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, and BoJack Unbound happen as well. Age 767 to 774, the Great Saiyan Saga takes place. After Cell's defeat, Earth enters a long period of peace. Goku is still dead, Gohan grows up, Goten is born, and Vegeta settles more into Earth life. By age 774, Gohan is living a more normal teenage life, focusing on his studies by day while fighting crime as the Great Saiyaman at night. Age 774. Here's where we reach the Majin Buu saga. Goku returns from the afterlife for the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament, only for the heroes to become caught up in Babidi's plan to revive Majin Buu. Vegeta gives in to his inner darkness and becomes Majin Vegeta, which helps trigger Buu's awakening. From there, the saga escalates through battles against multiple forms of Buu, Goku Super Saiyan 3, Ultimate Gohan, and fusions like Gotenks and Vegito, leading to a fight with Kid Buu. After Kid Buu destroys Earth, the final battle moves to the sacred world of the Kais, where Goku defeats him with the Super Spirit Bomb. The saga ends with Earth being restored and Buu being reincarnated as Oob, who we meet later in the timeline. During this era, the alternate movie events of Broly's Second Coming, Bio Broly, Fusion Reborn, and Wrath of the Dragon also take place. Now, right after the Buu saga, there's one more stop before we get to Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, Dragon Ball Daima, age 775. Think of this as a bridge between DBZ and Super. This is where the franchise suddenly feels lighter and more focused on adventure and comedy, kind of like the original Dragon Ball, while still including DBZ level action. Goku and a bunch of the main cast get magically turned into kids when Goma, a demon king who wants power and control over the whole demon realm, uses Earth's Dragon Balls to remove the threats against him. To undo the curse and stop Goma, Goku heads into the demon realm with Shin, the East Supreme Kai of Universe 7, teaming up with new and old allies along the way to gather the demon realm's Dragon Balls. By the end, the heroes unlock new transformations in the process like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, face Goma head-on, and use the Demon Realm's Dragon Balls to change everyone back to normal. And from here, we move into the events of Dragon Ball Super, age 778 to 783. This is the era where the gods and the multiverse play a major role in the main plot. Age 778, God of Destruction Beerus Saga. Beerus, the god of destruction of Universe 7, wakes up after dreaming of a Super Saiyan god and begins searching for that warrior. His search leads him to Goku and then to Earth. Goku uses the Dragon Balls to learn how to become a Super Saiyan god. Goku achieves the form and battles Beerus in a universe-shaking fight, but Beerus ultimately wins. Fortunately though, he spares Earth. Age 779, Golden Frieza, Universe 6, and Future Trunks sagas. Around this time, Gohan's daughter Pan is born, and Goku and Vegeta train under Whis, unlocking Super Saiyan Blue. Frieza is revived, trains, and returns to Earth for revenge yet again. During his fight against Goku, Frieza destroys Earth, but Whis rewinds time so Goku can stop him before Earth is destroyed. Soon after, Champa, Beerus' brother and Universe 6's god of destruction, challenges Universe 7 to a tournament against Universe 6. During this period, Goku also meets Zeno, the Omni King, and gives him the idea of a larger multiversal tournament. After Universe 7 defeats Universe 6, Future Trunks shows up again from age 796 from his future timeline. This time, he's running away from Goku Black, who we later find out is Zamatsu, an apprentice Supreme Kai who used the Super Dragon Balls to steal a version of Goku's body. Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks travel between age 779 and 796 to investigate and fight Black and future Zamasu. The conflict becomes so extreme that future Zeno erases future Trunks' entire timeline to destroy Zamasu completely. Although his original future timeline is lost, Trunks, together with his partner Mai, later relocate to a replacement future timeline, which is very similar to his own. Age 780. This is where we get the events of the Universe Survival Saga. Goku reminds Zeno about the All-Universe Tournament, leading to the Tournament of Power, where the universes that lose risk being completely erased. Universe 7 forms a team made up of Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Android 17, Android 18, Krillin, Tien, Master Roshi, and Frieza, who is temporarily brought back for 24 hours for the tournament. During the tournament, Goku reaches new levels and transforms into his Ultra Instinct form. Universe 7 ultimately wins, with Android 17 being the last fighter standing, who uses the Super Dragon Balls to restore all the erased universes. Frieza is also permanently revived. Later, around this same era, the movie Dragon Ball Super Broly takes place, making Broly officially part of the main canon. During the battle with Broly, Goku and Vegeta are forced to fuse into Gogeta, which also makes this fusion form canon. Meanwhile, in the original Future Trunks Ruin timeline, age 780 is also where the events of the in-canon movie Dragon Ball Z: The History of Trunks happen. Age 780 to 781. After the Tournament of Power and the fight with Broly, there's another split here. The main story continues in the manga with the Galactic Patrol Prisoner and Granola the Survivor sagas, which I get into a lot more detail in the Dragon Ball Timeline article I mentioned earlier. But there's also a non-canon separate continuity that happens alongside the main events of this time period, Super Dragon Ball Heroes. This promotional anime web series is tied to the Dragon Ball Heroes video game. It pulls together characters from many eras and alternate realities into large-scale multiverse battles, including timeline variants like Xeno versions of familiar heroes, who serve as time patrollers. Age 782 to 783 leads us to the events that happen in the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. Dr. Hedo, the grandson of Dr. Gero, creates androids Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and the unfinished Cell Max. With Goku and Vegeta off-world, the conflict is handled mainly by Piccolo and Gohan, pushing both characters back into the spotlight. The conflict peaks when Gohan unlocks his Beast transformation, and Piccolo gains his Orange Piccolo form, allowing them to destroy Cell Max and once again stop the Red Ribbon Army. And after all of that, we reach the end of Dragon Ball Z, age 784. This part in the timeline can be kind of confusing online because two things are true at once. As far as I know, the events of the main timeline do end here, but the events from the parallel future timelines still continue from this point. Age 784. Goku meets Oob, Kid Buu's reincarnation, at the 28th World Martial Arts Tournament. During their match, Goku sees great potential in Oob, so they leave together to train, marking the end of the main timeline. Meanwhile, the Future Trunks timeline and Cell's original timeline keep going. During age 784, Future Trunks travels back to the past to age 764 to warn the Z-Fighters about the androids and then returns to his ruined future. Age 785. In the Future Trunks timeline, Trunks travels back to age 767 to help the Z-Fighters fight the androids and find a way to save his own future. After Perfect Cell is defeated in the main timeline, Trunks returns to his era and destroys androids 17 and 18. On the other hand, in Cell's original timeline, Future Trunks returns home after the androids are dealt with in the main timeline and uses their blueprints to shut them down and destroy them in his future. Age 788. In Future Trunks' timeline, Trunks prepares to travel back to the past of the main timeline to tell the Z-Fighters that he defeated the androids, but before he can leave, he is confronted by the newly awakened Cell. This time, Trunks easily kills him. A few years later, he confronts Babidi and Dabura and destroys them both with a massive ki blast, preventing Majin Buu from ever being revived in his timeline. Meanwhile, in Cell's original timeline, during age 788, Cell awakens, kills Trunks, steals the time machine, and travels back to age 763 so he can hide underground and eventually absorb the androids. As far as I know, this here is the end of Cell's original timeline, since the Cell of this future dies in the past of the main canon during the event of the Cell games. After the end of the main timeline, there's one big separate continuity people bring up all the time. Dragon Ball GT, age 789 to 790 and age 889. Though GT continues after Z, it's considered a completely separate follow-up story or an alternate sequel to the events of the main canon. So think of it like, what if Dragon Ball kept going after Z but in a different direction? Age 789, Black Star Dragon Ball and Baby Saga. GT begins when Emperor Pilaf uses the Black Star Dragon Balls to make a wish, but accidentally turns Goku back into a kid. Sound familiar? Well, after the Black Star Dragon Balls are used, they scatter across the galaxy. So Goku, Pan, and Trunks go after them due to a nasty side effect in which, if they aren't returned to Earth within a year, the planet will be destroyed. Their journey eventually leads to Baby, a parasitic being created to take revenge against the Saiyans for the Tuffles. Baby takes control of Vegeta and becomes Baby Vegeta, then uses the Black Star Dragon Balls to create a new planet Plant. The saga reaches new heights when Goku unlocks GT's original version of Super Saiyan 4 and defeats Baby, stopping the Tuffles' final attempt at revenge. After Baby uses the Black Star Dragon Balls though, they scatter again and unfortunately aren't returned in time back to Earth, causing the planet to begin collapsing. The Z-Fighters do evacuate most of humanity to the new planet Plant. Realizing the danger these Dragon Balls pose, Piccolo chooses to remain on Earth so that his death will permanently deactivate them. Earth explodes, Piccolo dies with it, and the Black Star Dragon Balls are finally neutralized for good. Later, Earth is restored with the Namekian Dragon Balls, but Piccolo's sacrifice becomes one of GT's most lasting emotional moments. Age 790. The events of the Super 17 and Shadow Dragon sagas take place during this time. In Hell, Dr. Gero and Dr. Mew work together to create a new crisis by opening a portal between Hell and Earth. They manipulate Android 17 and fuse him with another version of himself, creating Super 17. He proves powerful enough to overwhelm nearly all of Earth's defenders, forcing Goku and Android 18 to take him down. After his defeat, the portal between Hell and Earth is closed, but at this point, the repeated use of the Dragon Balls throughout the franchise finally takes its toll. The Dragon Balls crack and release 7 Shadow Dragons born from the negative energy of past wishes. Goku and the others defeat most of them, but the final dragon, Sin Shenron, absorbs all 7 Dragon Balls and becomes Omega Shenron. Vegeta reaches Super Saiyan 4 and him and Goku fuse into Gogeta, but the fusion ends before Omega can be defeated. In the end, Goku destroys Omega Shenron with the Universal Spirit Bomb, ending the final great threat of GT. After Omega Shenron is defeated, regular Shenron appears one last time. Goku then mysteriously leaves with him, absorbing the Dragon Balls into his body and disappearing from the world. He's not seen again for almost 100 years, becoming more of a legend than a normal hero by the end of GT. Alongside GT, the future Trunks timeline continues. In age 795, Goku Black begins murdering the Supreme Kais across the different universes. Joined by future Zamasu, he devastates Earth and slaughters humanity. In age 796, future Bulma gives Trunks enough fuel for a one-way trip to the past, allowing him to travel back to age 779 for help. Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks then battle Black and Zamasu across multiple trips to the future. Black reveals Super Saiyan Rose, Trunks unlocks Super Saiyan Rage, and later Black and Zamasu fuse. Goku and Vegeta respond by fusing into Vegeto, while Trunks ultimately destroys Zamatsu's physical form using a spirit bomb-powered sword. When Zamatsu's evil essence spreads across the universe, Goku summons Future Zeno, who erases the entire future timeline and its universes completely. This brings the original Future Trunks timeline to an end. Around age 889, the story of GT jumps forward to a new generation of Saiyan descendants, including Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. During what may be the 64th World Martial Arts Tournament, the two face each other in battle. Pan, now elderly, briefly sees what appears to be Goku watching from a distance, suggesting that he may still be quietly watching over the world. This alternate ending to the Dragon Ball franchise gives Dragon Ball a mythic, reflective closure far removed from the main timeline. And that pretty much covers it. How to know every Dragon Ball timeline, a simple map to Dragon Ball history. One main path with different points and forks in the road that branch into either alternate movie events, parallel timelines, or separate continuities. Now, if the next question on your mind is, cool, but what should I watch next and in what order? That's exactly what I cover in my Dragon Ball watch order video. So click that next and I'll give you a clean, no homework guide to tell you what's the easiest way to jump back in. That way you can hit play with confidence and stop feeling overwhelmed with watch list paralysis.